Hello there everybody, Mobius1 here, bringing you a Star Wars Galaxies emulator Storytime video. I did a couple of these in the past and people really gave me a lot of positive feedback on them and actually have requested some more. So this one, I figured I would talk a little bit about the first house that I ever had in Star Wars Galaxies. So right now, on Basilisk, I'm actually standing in front of the SWGEmu Guild Hall, which is in the City University campus on the planet Locke, as usual. And this serves pretty much as my quote-unquote house on the emulator. I don't really use it for much other than showing off my crystal and holocron collection, storing some veteran rewards. It's mainly item storage. I think that's what I use a lot of houses. Pretty much all of my houses on the emulator are used solely for either item storage or crafting. But when you're new to Galaxies, especially for someone like for me back in Live, the first house that you got was much more than just, you know, a tool for storing items or for crafting items. It was your go-to place when you weren't out, you know, grinding or doing some sort of event. Like, people actually went to their houses and hung out there. Kind of different than the way it works in the emulator now, where there are player hubs like Mos Eisley and Theed and Coronet. Sure, those places existed, but for whatever reason, I seem to remember people actually hanging out at their house more often back in Live than they do on the emulator. And that just might be how games have evolved over the years, and I don't know, like, it's kind of an interesting feeling, and I'm not really sure why that change has happened, but it definitely has. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go and see if I can find the place, the exact place that I built my very first house in Live. It was on the planet Rori, and it was a medium Naboo house. So I'm going to have to go and pick up a medium Naboo house, and we will go out to Rori and see if I can't find the exact spot that I built it on Live.
A few moments later.
Alright, so here we are in Restis on the planet Rori. Now, believe it or not, I've actually did a prior Storytime episode here talking about my first few days in Galaxies, because this was actually my starting city. Now, I didn't have a swoop back then, I only had a speeder bike. However, I can tell you that I spent most of my time grinding. Ooh, there's a... There are a bunch of players just walking through Restis. We're just gonna see what's up with these people. Well, this is certainly taking a turn for the interesting. SAV. Oh, Denizens of Savarine. Roleplayers. Roleplayers. Are you the YouTuber? Maybe. That's so funny. I love people. Alright. So. Well, that's nice. See, there are many nice people in Galaxies. And a few bad ones. But mostly nice ones. Alright, so I do remember spending much of my time out here to the west of Restis. I remember coming over these hills, and then there's a bunch of rivers and some pretty flat land out here. And yeah, if I look on my map, you got sickle rasps, capper spine flaps, there should be some squalls out here. Yep, deranged squall. I spent so much of my time grinding these low-level creatures out here. I believe I was grinding marksmen, and what I would do, I would venture further and further away from the town, like, during my grind sessions. Because I think, as I said in my first few days of playing Storytime video, that this is before I had a vehicle. I know I just said earlier in this video that I had a speeder bike, and I did eventually get a speeder bike, but in my first few days, I didn't have a vehicle, so I would literally rely on, like, maintaining visual distance within visual range of Restis itself, so you could kind of see the cityscape in the distance there in the fog. But once I got the speeder bike, I got a little bolder, and I learned how to use my planetary map. But I didn't know about the planetary map when I first started, because there weren't YouTube videos that you could go and look up. I really only had one friend playing the game, and he was not on very much, so it was very much on me to learn exactly what to do and how to play the game when I first started, and that's part of why I love teaching other people how to do it, because I remember what it was like trying to figure it out on my own. But eventually, I did move out this way, and there's no way this is it right here. Was this as far as I went? This was totally it. I think. This will come around here and there'll be a flat land. Yeah, this was it. That was way easier to find than I thought it was. And unfortunately, somebody's already got a house in my spot. I built a medium Naboo house right in this little circle area here. It fit just perfectly. Is this actually within range of a city? Coochie Monster's house. Well, congratulations, Coochie Monster. You, you built your house right where I built my first house. You're public. Is there anything in your house? We're just gonna snoop around Coochie Monster's house. No, there's nothing here. Coochie Monster, what are you doing? You don't even have anything in your house. Darn Coochie Monster. Well, this is the exact spot that I built my house. That's, like I said, I'm really surprised that I found that so quickly, but I recognized that shape of the hill on my mini-map down there in the corner. Because what I did is I had, like I said, the medium Naboo house was there, and I believe... I'm obviously not going to be able to build it, but yeah, it fit, like, right there. Like, it fit right tucked into that corner. I even brought a medium Naboo house to try and build there. You know what, I'll place it out here anyway, just so we can go inside and see what it looks like. Where's the front going to be? Of course. Just so we can see what a medium Naboo house looks like for those that haven't seen it before. Because, you know, starting with a medium house was actually kind of cool. And the medium Naboos are just so beautiful. Like, you walk in, you have this nice foyer area. You have plenty of room to set up, you know, a fire pit or torches in a circle. Or you could put, like, crystals all around these pillars. You have a second floor balcony that overlooks the whole room, so you can actually put, like, I don't know, fish up here, like, floating above, or something, whatever. This was my bedroom. I remember I had the bed right underneath the window. I had, like, a cabinet in the corner with weapons and stuff in it. You have a little hallway here that connects to a balcony outside, so you can actually look out and see if there are any creatures outside. I so wish I could go back in time and just, like, experience this game for the first time again. That's really the one thing that I miss the most from Galaxies, is not really playing it. It's experiencing it for the first time and learning things for the first time. There's a basement, so I had my suit of armor was on display. Whoops, not meditate. I remember my very first suit of armor was padded armor. I believe the colors were purple and red. It was the most ridiculous looking suit of armor you'd ever seen. Purple and red padded armor. I remember this basement, I used this for resource storage, so there was hides, bone, meat, you know. I picked up artisan and was starting to, like, sample, you know, fiberplast and iron and stuff like that. Man, this is so freaking nostalgic. I don't know how much it's going to cost to destroy this. 1,700. Man. This was so... And this is exactly where I built my first bunch of harvesters. I remember the first type of resource harvesters I got were wind generators. So I actually had like 4 or 5 wind generators right in this field here. And I remember being so mad that this little mound of dirt was in the middle of this field because this interfered with where I could place harvesters. And then when I finally started getting into actual resource harvesting, I remember putting some like personal mineral extractors and personal chemical extractors over here. And this was my area. There was no one else out here except me. I honestly can't remember ever running into another player house out in this area of the planet. And this was just my zone. There were creatures that were spawning out here. I'm not sure why there aren't any creatures spawning out here now. Probably because that city is right there. But I would come out of my house like every day, and there would be a different group of creatures there. And sometimes if they were hostile, I would have to be very careful. And then I actually remember there's a POI around here somewhere. The Bark Mite cave. Yeah, it should be right over here. I remember, like, again, this is before I knew how to use the planetary map and knew about POIs. I was just out exploring one day, and boom, I see this mess of creatures pop up on my mini-map, and I was like, holy crap, I have no idea what all those dots are. Let's go check it out. So I went over here, and there's a cave. Where is it? Where's the entrance? It's over here, I think. There's a cave in the wall of the hill. Yeah, right here. And I had never seen something like this before. You get the bones outside, and there's a cave. And I was like, holy crap, there's a cave. What's in the cave? So I go in, and I knew about the overhead map, and I saw all those red dots, and I was like, yo, I know what this is. This is a dungeon, and there has to be a holocron in the bottom of this cave. Obviously, we know now that holocrons they're dropped, right? You loot them from Dark Troopers, Dark Jedi, you know, like high-level mobs drop them, or if you're lucky enough, you can actually get them out of a locked container. Not off of Bark Mites, alright? But I, as like a new player, did not know that. So I literally... I could not take on these creatures by myself. My combat skills were not good enough, my armor was not good enough, and I could maybe take on 1 or 2 of these guys at a time. So I hit up my friend when he signed on one night. I was like, yo, I found this cave on Rori. I'm certain there's a holocron in the bottom of this cave. You need to come check it out. We need to clear this cave. And he's like, I know what you're talking about. There's no holocron in that cave. I was like, look, you don't understand. When I open my map, I see nothing but red dots. There's a holocron in this cave. And he was like, I'm telling you, there's no holocron, but if it'll make you feel better, I'll come out there and we could go through the cave. So he came all the way out to Rori. I showed him the cave. He didn't tell me, you know, like how stupid I was or anything. He knew I was young. He knew I was excited. And he knew I was new. And it was just, he wanted to show me a good time. So instead of ruining my fun, we went through the whole cave. We emptied this cave out. And at the very bottom, I was all disappointed that we didn't find the holocron. And he explained to me that, yeah, you're not going to find holocrons in caves like these. But it was still a really fun experience. And obviously, it left such an impact on me that I remember it to this day. Almost, more than 10 years ago. It was like 12, 13 years ago, maybe? More than that? 14? It's 14 or 15 years ago. Oh my god, I'm getting old. But yeah, that was a time. That was an experience. And I wish I could relive that experience again. That's part of one of the reasons why I'm really looking forward to playing on a new server. Not one of like the private servers that go up, but I'm talking about Sun Crusher specifically, or even if Basilisk were to wipe, I think I would be really excited about that. I know it's not going to happen, but it's something that if it ever did happen, I would not be upset. But that's all I've got for now. Just a little mini story time video. Some people like to listen to some of this stuff and see what others experienced when they first started playing the game. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you remember your very first house that you got in Galaxies, whether it was on the emulator or back in live, what type of house it was. Was it a medium Naboo like mine, small Tatooine, large Corellian? Was it a guild hall? What was your very first house? And where specifically, if you can remember, where did you build it? Don't just say on Tatooine. Say, hey, you know, I really like Jabba's palace, so my first house was a large Tatooine house, as close to Jabba's palace as I could put it. If you remember, let me know. If you don't remember all the details, let me know anyway. Just leave a comment and let me know what your house was, your very first house, and where you decided to settle in Star Wars Galaxies. All right? Thank you guys for watching this week's Star Wars Galaxies episode. Profession guides are going to start happening pretty soon. TM. So stay tuned for those. Keep in mind, screenshot contest still going on. Check it out. It's in my playlist. It was last week's video. You guys have until like this first week of February, I think, to get in on that. I've only had like 4 submissions so far, so there's a lot of credits up for grabs right now. All you gotta do, take a picture, send it to me. All the details will be in that other video, so go check it out if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching. Mobius1 here. I'll see you next time.